So we put the Mod Podge slash paint slash fine sand water layer on. Bit of a this part over here has a nice flat look. This part over here, razor crest. You can see it's a bit of a satiny look to it over here. That was because I used one kind of paint here and then another kind of acrylic paint for the rest. So, you know, a little lesson there. Use the same kind of paint over the whole thing. If this part's a little bit more shiny, it's fine. You'll also notice some little white spots here that might be showing up on camera. I was working on another piece I'll show you in a minute, and some of the PVA glue kind of dripped here and there. And at first I was like, oh crap, what did I do? And then it was like, nah, it's okay, leave it. Because if you ever look at asphalt, tarmac, you know, your road outside, you'll see some shiny parts here and there. And I can always just dry brush it over with something else. So we got an option here. I was gonna start using some pinstriping little masking tape here that I bought to for not necessarily this project but others. And I was gonna start putting like landing zone markings like you see in airports and stuff. I've got those two ships over there and this Razor Crest over here, just kind of spacing things out. One thing I'd like to do is in this corner over there, I thought about raising up another level. So like you'll have some of the starships underneath, like maybe for repair, maybe that's their docking bay. And then on top of that, we can have more starships. So I'm not really sure what I'm gonna do next. I would really like to start putting some stuff down here, some markings in Orabesh, you know, docking bay numbers. One of them has to be docking bay 94. That's just gonna be a given. And but one thing I did is I cut this piece here. Okay, I just hit it up there, but that's okay. Here's what I did. This is going to sit like this over here, okay? And I'm gonna raise it up about 6 inches. And one of the things I did is I took this piece of foam I had, a spare piece, and I cut this. So if you picture, now this is the top actually, but I'm just gonna pretend it's the bottom. Picture is, you know, something like that. It's, you know, on the bottom here, it's gonna hold it up, and these are like the, you know, the support beams that would hold up the second level. That was kind of a prototype. It's not bad, I like it. I'll definitely have to put some filler on there and paint it. But the other day, I was drinking one of these juice bottles, and I was looking at it, and I thought, well, hold on, what if I turn this upside down like this, right? And now that could be the support. So it rests on top here. It's kind of hard to show here. Let me see if I can give you an idea of what I'm talking about here. So picture something like this, right? You know, now of course I'm gonna need more, and I've got a whole case of this stuff up there. I just need to drink them all. And I go through usually one a day anyway. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7, 8. Right, we'll have more along the outside because the ships will go in this way. So I didn't show this on camera, and I may start showing myself doing more stuff on camera as far as like, you know, painting and cutting and sanding and that kind of stuff. But for now, you know, I'm just kind of winging it here. So what I did is I cut this out. I measured it to roughly the size I want. So there's enough here for, you know, one ship here. Underneath, one ship here, one ship here, one here, and here. So that's 4. You can probably squeeze maybe 5 or 6 in depending on their size. Now on top, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna put like an air traffic control tower here, and then over here we're gonna paint this all kind of a grayish concrete, maybe metal looking color, and then we'll put circles, maybe one here, one over here, and one over here, and paint it this black tarmac. Kind of set it off, put some markings on there, you know, docking port, you know, 82 and 83, 84, whatever numbers, it doesn't matter. And what I did was, you know, I just measured it to the roughly the size I wanted, and then I painted the top part with cheap PVA Elmer's glue, grade stuff. I put a little bit of gray color into it just for giggles, just to see how it would look. It's sealed now, so we can probably paint over it. There's a few spots here we might. Just make sure you hold the can at a distance. Don't get too close. Remember, it's the solvent that eats the foam, not the paint. Okay, once you spray it on there, the solvent evaporates and the paint comes together and it forms the bond layer and seals up. So on the other side, what you can't see is this is just PVA. So I got a big thing of Elmer's glue, just got a brush, and just sat here slathering this while I was watching some ghost videos off YouTube and just killing time on a Saturday. Really handy, you know. Don't remember which side it was. Probably over here. Whichever side has the most marks on it. Might be over here. I took a knife, right? I just grabbed one of these knives and just started cutting. Oh my God, that was terrible. Well, later that day, my hot wire cutter for foam showed up. Oh my God, that was so much easier. I just held it like this. So I went in 1 inch, drew a line all the way around. And then I just held this up at an angle and just started hot wire cutting all that off. I kind of went really slow, then chipped off, really slow, took a piece off, really slow, took a piece off. And of course, obviously it's all wavy and weird looking. So then I went out to the garage, grabbed some sandpaper and started doing this. Then I grabbed my electric sander, plugged it in, just held this off nicely. I've got a little stand out in the garage, and I just went up and down, up and down. I didn't hold it in the same spot for too long. You know, that's heat, that's gonna melt your foam. But I just kept going, and then I followed along my line, and you can see it actually came out pretty nice. So what this is this is the top part, and you can see the edge over here. And what I'm gonna do is like maybe get, like, if you ever look on aircraft carrier, they have this wire or this net, like a mesh along the side here to keep people from to fall over, right? So I'm going to do something similar like that. We're going to put something here, maybe like a kind of simulate a chain link fence type thing, and then put maybe a wire mesh going around over here, make it look like a fence, and then let's see what else. So then, like I said, I would like to put a tower here, you know, kind of like an air traffic control tower or something. So I found some pieces of some junk laying around. We got this thing. This is pretty cool. So this is so I work in a lab, right? So what this is used for dry ice. All right, you put your a glass track really goes into here. It's like stuff comes in when you're applying vacuum, and then you surround it with dry ice. So any fumes or vapors you may be pulling get stuck in there and don't go into your pump and ruin your pump, which I have done on occasion. But then we're throwing this out, so on its own, it just happened to be sitting like this, and I was like, oh, it's already got some design on there. So picture that, maybe like here, might be further back, or maybe a little bit more this way. Haven't decided, because if I do it like right here, that gives me another little landing pad over there, which would be pretty cool. And then I've got this thing over here, just a piece of styrofoam. Not really sure. This would look good. And then I get some foam board, put something over here, and then I bought this on Amazon. It's a little terrain bunker, maybe, something like that. So there goes a piece. So then the plan is to somehow incorporate this into the top. I was thinking we could put like maybe a transmitter dish of some sort here, you know, put some styrofoam here, make it flat, get rid of this hole, and then put like a transmitter dish on here, and then something that kind of comes out, and maybe let's see, we got something here, maybe something that comes out and holds this like this. So you got the transmitter dish over here, and then this will be like on this side over here, kind of overlooking the rest of the port, and we can put like little droids and stuff over there, and maybe something up here, I don't know. Hell, even this could go up here. That looks kind of weird. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, that's the path we're going. Not really sure what I want to do next. The second level is going to be fun, but it doesn't have to be right now. I got my wire cutter and I just kind of wanted to play with it, so I used that as an excuse to go ahead and make that part. Probably going to put it aside and start putting down some docking or bay numbers over here in Orabesh. You know, you can see the seams in between here. It's going to be a modular system. So everything, including this isn't going to be glued to this. This is going to have these as feet underneath, but this part will not be glued to here. It'll actually I'll probably find something else for it to sit on, and then just make sure it's flat. That way I can always take the second level off. The other thing I had thought about was, might have mentioned this in a previous video, was so this is going to be like over here. So this part over here is going to be open, and I'm thinking it'd be nice if we had like a little marketplace for this. This is like a spaceport, right? It's not going to be Imperial. It's not going to be Rebel. It's going to be like a free port. So we'll put like a little marketplace over here. Been looking on, there's a few toy stores here in the state, so I may go up to some of these and see if I can find a bag of droids, just a variety of droids that can be wandering around doing stuff. Still waiting on the Ghost to come. I keep looking on HasLab's Pulse shipping. Hasn't started shipping yet, but I'm really waiting on that. I gotta tell you, I'm real happy with the way the tarmac came out. It looks good. It feels just gritty enough. You know, this is very smooth. This is nice and gritty. What else? That's where we are. We'll see, you know, how to build the tower. You know, I even had the idea of something like this, but then I thought, you know, droids could sit up here, but then I thought it'd be nice if something kind of stuck out, and this was maybe just hanging over here like this, so that way they can keep an eye on this part, and then we can have a transmitter dish up there, like I said before. So far, a lot of fun. It's going very well. It's not being worked on every day. Again, got a day job, well, during the week anyway. And yeah, that's where we are. So I'll go ahead and start putting down some tarmac, you know, spaceport decals, or well, not decals. I'm probably just gonna make them, and maybe kind of like draw it out here. You know, get a pencil and just kind of outline it, and then go back and touch it up with paint. I got lots of acrylic paint. We'll put in some like some guidelines and things like that. If you ever look at airport landing strips and how they have their markings, right? Okay, it's gonna take some time. Again, it's a huge project, probably way bigger than what I should have started with. But I didn't have anything small in mind that I really wanted to do to start off with, because all my Star Wars stuff, I've been buying it for 30 years now. And what I've done, and I've always had this in mind. We got a spaceport. You can look in the back and see a lot of Clone Wars stuff. All the Clone Wars stuff will go on a display of similar size, but it's going to be Geonosis. Okay, all the Clone Wars, the 3 3/4 inch stuff will all go into that. The third one will be the Battle of Hoth, which is going to be kind of a combination of Star Wars Legion figures and then the regular sized AT-AT, ATSTs, and some of the troop transports, kind of to give the Imperial military institution that ginormous look and compare it to the person. I think that'll look pretty cool. So, all my stuff was bought with that in mind. So I didn't have anything really small that I wanted to start off with and practice with. And I tend to just jump headfirst into large projects. And actually, this basement here is a case in point. I just turned this into my Star Wars man cave, and now there's 750 square feet of Star Wars stuff everywhere. Now I'm gonna put on some ghost videos and start working on this. Have fun, everybody.